Let's look at the review for your inequalities test. This is the second part of topic 5. You will be required to solve, graph, and even some word problems where you will have to write the inequality in this lesson. So let's look at number 1. It's x is less than 6. So all you have to do is pick one of those marks to be 6. Circle it and call it 6. Decide if you want the circle to be open or closed. And it stays open because we have the less than symbol, not the less than or equal to symbol. So it stays open. And then the numbers that are less than 6 are on the left side of 6. Be careful about treating that like an arrow and shading the way the arrow points. That will only work if the variable is in the front. So it does work for number 1 because x is in the front. So it'll also work for number 2. But on 3 and 4, see how the variable's in the back? You can not shade the way the arrow points on those. Number 2, w is greater or equal to -4. That's going to get a closed circle because we have that or equal to bar. And w is greater on the right-hand side. Number 3, 6 is less than or equal to p. Closed circle on 6. And this time we're shading to the right. Again, about treating that like an arrow, that's only going to work if the variable's in the front. So since the variable was on the back side, you have to shade against the way the arrow points. You want numbers that are greater than 6, those are to the right. Number 4, -8 is less than n. So it's open on -8. And the variable's in the back, so you would have to go against the way the arrow points. You want numbers bigger than -8, and those are to the right. Number 5, let's translate into an inequality. A number is greater than 10. So here's a number greater than 10. Number 6, a number is at most is less than or equal to, at most 7. 7 is solve and graph. X plus 2 is less or equal to 11. You want to subtract 2 to both sides. X is less or equal to 9. That is a closed circle on 9. The variable's in the front, so it is okay to shade the way the arrow points because numbers less than or equal to 9 are to the left of 9. Number 8, k divided by -3 is less than 5. Since we're dividing, we have to multiply, which is the inverse operation. Multiplying both sides by a negative turns the sign around. And k is now greater than -15. That's open on -15. K is in the front, so you can treat it like an arrow, and greater than k is off to the right. Number 9, p less than 7 is greater or equal to 18. Add 7 to both sides. So p is greater or equal to 25. That's closed on 25. And p is greater or equal to that over to the right. Number 10, -36 is greater than 6v. Divide both sides by 6 because 6v means 6 times v. So you have v on the right, and then -36 divided by 6 is -6. That's an open on -6. The variables in the back, so don't shade the way the arrow points, you have to go the opposite way. Because V is less than -6, and that's to the left. 11 is a two-step. Two steps will be an add or subtract step followed by a multiply or divide step. So let's subtract 16 to both sides. C over 2 is less than -6. And then multiply both sides by 2, and C is less than -12. That's open on -12, and less is to the left. Number 12 is also two steps, -13 for the first step. -3r is greater or equal to -27. Divide both sides by -3. That is a sign switch because we divided both sides by a negative, and r is less or equal to 9. Closed circle on 9, and r is less over to the left. 13 is two steps. Subtract 9 to both sides. So 3/5 A is greater than -12. That's not a sign switch because that -9 is a subtraction step, not multiply or divide. Now it's time to multiply by the reciprocal. So both sides by 5/3. And A is greater than -20. You can put -12 over 1. Multiplying would be -60 over 3, which is -20. Open on -20, and A is greater to the right. Number 14 got lots of questions. You do multiply these together to get -20, but because what you're actually doing is timesing both sides by -5, that is a sign switch. So W minus 7 is less or equal to -20. Add 7 to both sides, and W is less or equal to -13. So closed on -13, and W is less or equal down to the left. 15 is two steps. First thing would be add 13 to both sides. 40 greater or equal to -5m. Divide both sides by -5. That is a sign switch. M is on the right, -8 is on the left. That is a closed circle on -8. The variable's in the back, so you have to go away from the arrow, which is this way, because you need M to be greater than -8, and that's to the right. 16 is two steps. Add 30 to both sides. So 12y is less than 24. Divide both sides by 12. Y is less than 2. Closed on 2, and y is less out to the left. Okay, number 17, translate into an inequality and then solve. 6 subtracted from a number. So subtracted from a number needs to look like this. 6 subtracted from a number is x minus 6. Is a maximum. Maximum is less than or equal to 11. Solving, add 6 to both sides. X is less or equal to 17. Number 18, the product of a number and -7. Product means to multiply. So -7n increased by, so +5, is no less than. No less than would be greater than or equal to 26. Subtract 5 to both sides. -7n is greater or equal to 21. And divide both sides by -7. That is a sign switch. And n is less or equal to -3. Number 19, Mike can fit no more than 22.5 gallons in his gas tank. If he stops at the gas station with 4.9 gallons already in his tank, how much gas can he fit in his tank? So he's already got 4.9 gallons. He's going to put more gallons in there, but if he can fit no more than, then that total amount has to be less or equal to 22.5. Minus 4.9 to both sides, and G is less or equal $17.6. So how much can he fit? He can fit 17.6 gallons or less than that. And number 20, Amy wants to burn at least 360 calories at the gym. So she wants to burn more or equal to 360, because at least is greater than or equal to. She burned 180 calories on the bike, then moved to the treadmill. If she burns 6 calories per minute on the treadmill, how many more minutes does she need to exercise? So she's already burned 180, and then for every minute on the treadmill, she burns 6 calories. So 6M, 6 times the number of minutes. Minus 180. 6M is greater or equal to 180. Divide both sides by 6. M is greater or equal to 30. So how many more minutes does she need to exercise? She needs to exercise 30 minutes or more to burn at least 360 calories. All right, rewatch this if you need to, and best of luck to you on the test.